Hello, my friend, Pastor Curt here, and I got a serious question for you. What discourages you? What gets you down? What makes you start to lose hope, start to be more cynical, start to be more depressed? I asked this to a group of 20-somethings lately. I said, what's kind of discouraging? And one person said, Pastor Curt, everything in our world right now is discouraging me. The truth is, I've never lived through a time when there's been such an onslaught of discouraging news. And it's worse because every once in a while there's a glimmer of hope and then another wave of discouragement comes. How do we handle it? When we're in a very down season, a discouraging season, where there's an abundance of evidence that things aren't going right in many sectors of our world, how do you stay full of encouraged? Well, there's a verse in Exodus 14, verses 13 and 14. I got to give you the context a little bit here. The people are coming out of many generations of slavery. The people are coming out with no weapons, no way to defend themselves, and they have the world's strongest army on their heels. The people are coming out, they're women, children, livestock, and then Pharaoh is coming after them. He's got the chariots, the horses, the spears. And in the midst of that incredibly intense discouragement, that incredible odds are against them, here's what Moses says. And Moses said to the people, Exodus 14, 13 and 14, "Do not be afraid, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will accomplish for you today. For the Egyptians whom you see today, you shall see again no more forever. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace." You see, discouragement is overcome by two things. Number one is protection, and number two is direction. What is discouragement? What's the difference between mildly disappointed, things didn't quite work out today, and really getting discouraged, and then that leading to even despair? Well, discouragement often is associated with not knowing how to get out, with being stuck, with looking at your circumstances and saying relationally or financially or academically or vocationally, I don't know how to get out of this mess. When you don't have a future path out, that's when you start getting discouraged. This is why so many 20-somethings are discouraged right now. This season in our culture has unmoored a lot of their directions for schooling and vocation, job and housing. Here's what God says to them. First, he gives them concrete direction. Stand still. Don't move. I got this. What's the direction God gave you? What's the last order he gave you? What's the last clear thing God said to you? Go do that. And oftentimes it's going to be just that. Stand still. Do nothing. I got this. You can't find your way out. Let me get you out. Then the second thing is God's expressed protection. Here's what's God saying. It's like every great movie where the army is against all odds and the enemy has got troops upon troops upon troops and they're all about to be killed. It's every Lord of the Rings movie. And then what happens? The reinforcements come, overwhelming the enemy. This is our God. He's saying, listen to me, get my direction and wait for my protection. Get my direction and wait for my protection. I don't care how complicated your situation is. God's got some direction for you. And it might be as simple as do nothing, stand still, wait for me, and then look for God's protection. You may not be strong enough to get yourself out of this discouraging situation, but I guarantee God is. What God did for the Israelites in this incredibly discouraging situation, he'll do for you if you get his direction and look for his protection.